Here's chapter 3 of the adventures of Stagger. The first two chapters recount the story of how and where he was born and what happened immediately afterward. Now he's moving from the swamps of Florida to a little town called Waxahachie, where he meets a woman named Zelda. Waxahachie is certainly not the center of the universe, Zelda thought, as she prepared for the pre-dawn onslaught of construction workers, cops, and hitting the road early tourists and traveling salesmen. She made 3 pots of strong black coffee, totally ignoring the decaf, which all pre-dawners spurned. The honey buns, cinnamon rolls, and jelly donuts, in their sticky glueness, were ready in the clear plastic case, and the cheese burrito makings sat solidly by the microwave. A small town near the interstate that funneled Yankee traffic. Yankee, by local standards, including anything north of the Florida line, especially those Georgians who were so smug in their Magnolia ethic. Its only claim to fame was a speed trap for the unsuspecting and the rambunctious, but it had disappeared when its 2-lane road had been supplanted by the humming highway. If no turnoff had been built, Waxahachie would have surely disappeared. Zelda was a wild child by local and any other standards. She had read most of the books in the local library and taken most of the courses at the junior college. But through her outspoken questioning and consequent revealing of the instructor's realms of ignorance, she was not welcome there anymore. She used to be into hip-hop, hitching rides to Gainesville for that scene, but had now opened to a new style of party dancing, of which she was the only practitioner, she called mishmash. When the strangely attractive man staggered into the pick and run, she thought at first he was an extra from the movie shoot down the road, costumed and made up early for the day. He approached and asked for water, and she immediately fell into love, fell into his deep blue eyes, fell like a sack of potatoes from a farm truck, fell like Lucifer from heaven, shouting, "I will," all the way. She gave him water. Their fingers touched, and the next thing she knew, they were so intertwined, her libidinal brain fluttered into the awareness that slow-motion orgasm could be a way of life. "Wait, wait," she gasped, stumbling and staggering backwards to the pick-and-run office. Lifting her onto the desk, he gently entered her pulsing eagerness, and the two spun off into nirvana. Days, decades, eons later, for time had melted and disappeared, she heard the chime that sounded from the opening of the pick-and-run door. They disengaged, but their souls would never be apart. "What is your name?" she breathed. "Stagger Lee, and I see your name is Zelda," he said, glancing at her pick-and-run badge while drinking her in lovingly and deeply with his eyes. "Zelda, where are you?" called Horace, the local cop, who was almost as sweet on Zelda as the donut jelly was on his chin. Stagger Lee and Zelda emerged from the office. Horace was startled, his brain slow to put one and one together. But when it did, his synapses fired, and so too did his gun. But his gun reflexes were as slow as his brain that told him that this strange man was the saboteur described in the All Points Bulletin. Stagger Lee sailed right past Horace, knocking his gun hand aside, and Horace to the floor. He looked back at Zelda with love and frustration as he headed toward the door. "Stagger, wait!" She tossed him a silver necklace holding the coin, the infamous coin by which Stagger Lee could be manipulated and trapped. They smiled. Stagger Lee went out the door and into the night, pausing only to slice the patrol car in two with one swipe of his vorpal blade.